Catus Maximus here again. This time a review of the GM PowerTorque compact socket set. These are sold at O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and they are a super compact socket set. I've actually seen other socket sets that are similar to them, but they're kind of unique because they have a hex drive on them. And that's because they use a special kind of wrench, which just looks like a combination between a ratcheting box wrench and a regular ratchet. And so the idea is that these sockets, instead of sitting on top, they actually sit inside the wrench and give you much lower profile than even a standard type of low profile socket can gain you. These are oftentimes half the height of even, of a regular 1/4-inch drive socket set. So these are 1/4-inch drive, and we'll take a close look at them. They're really pretty well made. Good chrome, good fluting. Even the drive end is fluted. These would technically be through or pass-through sockets, except for on the larger sizes, the pass-through is only a 1/4-inch. So, So if you're removing a nut, say on the larger 1/2-inch or 13mm sockets, it won't quite pass through, where obviously the smaller ones, any long threaded shank would easily pass through. The Imperial set's pretty good. It goes from 13/64 to 1/2-inch. 9/16 would be the standard larger size. On the metric, it's pretty good, but it goes from 5mm through 13mm. It'd be nice if they at least included a 14. They didn't need the 15, but a 14 is a pretty commonly used socket, so I would have preferred that. If we take a quick look, let's look at the ratchet first. Here's the ratchet. It's super thin. It's thinner than even a ratcheting box wrench. A while ago I did reviews of these Blackhawks, and this is a 12mm ratcheting box wrench, and you can see it's still thicker than this ratchet. So I'm not so sure about the strength of this ratchet because of how thin it is, really. So I'm sure it has a nice large pawl in there, or a wide one, but it's just so thin. The ratchet did come with this little adapter, which allows you to use it as a standard 1/4-inch ratchet, and it is quick release, so that's kind of handy. And these hexes are 11mm, and I actually have another set here, a brand that was found at CarQuest called Mountain, and they're also this is a Spline Drive super short, and they're also 11mm. So that was kind of the incentive to buy these, is because they worked with that other set and its ratchet. This is an offset ratchet. It's slightly bent upwards, but that's basically what it is an offset ratchet, and so I kind of like that aspect as well. And then it's just a pass-through. There's the 11mm 12-point hex, where this Mountain brand is a straight handle. It has a much heavier duty ratchet mechanism. There's no question that this ratchet is much stronger than the PowerTorque, but they're both the same. It just fits right through, and they use a 12-point on this, and I'm not exactly sure why. There's no reason to, but they did. And so you put in a socket, and it's super short. If we compare it to even a regular 1/4-inch drive socket with the 1/4-inch ratchet, we can see that it's shorter than just a socket by itself. If we compare the whole ratchet and socket, it's like half the height. And just if you were to use these with regular ratchets, you can see how much shorter the sockets are. They save you about 30% on the height just using them with a standard or a normal ratchet. And they're even fluted on the drive side, and they even have little undercuts to hold the ball dented, and little undercuts for the little snap ring that's in the ratchet. So there's a lot of little operations in these sockets, and they're pretty good. I mean, right down to the stamp, the roll stamp, you can see is actually pretty well defined. And even though they're pretty low profile, they are not the lowest of profiles. With this Mountain set, that's a Spline Drive, it's a similar system, you can see where I bought these because they were 6.2, is the Mountain set has even a shorter receptacle or drive side, and it's a little bit taller on the back side here. Now, I find that if I use this socket with this ratchet, even though it sticks up a little bit, it's no more than the lever, and then that makes this even shorter. And now if we compare to this 10mm socket, or it's this 12mm socket, if we were to look at it in that situation, we're almost at half the height. So that's the big deal about these, or this particular set, is the fact that it is so short. And if we were to compare against some other stuff, say the Harbor Freight pass-through ratchet, it's, you know, half the height of the Harbor Freight pass-through ratchet on the 3/8. And if we compare it to just a regular 3/8 ratchet and socket, it's those are huge. This is almost as short as just a ratchet head on a 3/8. So it's great for interior work and all sorts of tight spaces in a lot of modern cars. Actually, cars made over the last 30 years really started getting a lot tighter. So anyway, just wanted to bring this set to your attention, and they're at O'Reilly's, and they seem to be pretty decent. I think I paid like $40 for the whole thing. Oddly enough, the ratchet is sold separately from the socket, so you can just get the sockets if you want, and then get the ratchet, which will come with this little 1/4" drive adapter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Catus Maximus out.